Hello everybody from a very cold and crispy, icy East Yorkshire. This is Dan, and today we are going to have a run through of dungeon number 3 from the Gorgon's Loch. This is going to be a open box to closed box run through. There are my 5 characters. Here is a 100 strong search pile. Here are the enemies. I'll have to search through those once I get to the rulebook and find out exactly what enemies we have. Here's the snazzy dice cam. I'm not sure what board pieces dungeon number 3 uses yet. I think we'll try this one with 2 characters. We'll need a few of those for clacking the board pieces together. Campaign booklet, here we go. Campaign booklet, dungeon number 3 is, the 3 stones. Okay, cool. So the 3 stones, in order to pass safely through to the next section of the dungeon system, you must carefully place 3 gems into 3 very special locks. These are gems liberated from the Gorgon Queen's own trove and are very dear to her. Okay, so we're hunting for the black, green and red gem, and we're going to place them in the gem locks that are shown here on the map. So now I'm going to set the map up. And we are going to need chamber 2 is at the top. That's chamber 1. That's chamber 3. That's chamber 4. So I'm guessing this is chamber 2. Yep. This goes that way. Make sure we can set these up so you guys get them all on screen. Yeah. Chamber 4 comes next. Chamber 3 at the bottom. It's the other way, that way. Just checking where the spawn points are. Lovely. Now we have the Great Hall, which goes that way. I hope I've got enough room here in the camera. It's not a massive map, but it's bigger than usual. Next we have Chamber 1 going that way. I think I'm off camera there already, aren't I? And then I have the starting vestry. It goes here. I'll sort the camera out in a second, folks, don't worry. And we have a single corridor for this one that connects the two, and it's corridor number 4. Corridor number 4 goes here. So actually, the chamber number 1 connects there. Vestry connects at the top. And corridor number 4 connects there. Lovely. Okay. So now let's find out where we're going. Well, we've got a connection here. A connection here. Connection here. It's one of those lovely horseshoe-shaped dungeons. Yeah. Connection 1, 2, 3, 4 there. And there is no connection here, so it's kind of a horseshoe dungeon. And finally here into the vestry. There we go. Right, I shall just have a wee fiddle with the camera to make sure I can get all this map on for you folks. And then I'll find a good spot for the dice cam. So it won't be a moment. Give the motion sickness if there is any. Let's see if I go for something nice, a little higher like that. That'd do it, I think. Yes, there we are. Lovely. Right. So I'm just going to wrestle with some furniture. Talk among yourselves. There we have the whole dungeon laid out. Let's come this way a little bit perhaps. There we are. Turn it a little bit down. There we go. Alright. That's pretty good. yeah, reasonably happy with that. So I can remove these little pointers now. If I pop into shots, you'll notice I've got a woolly hat on, and that's because it's absolutely brass monkeys here at the moment. So yeah, it's cold. It's nippy in East Yorkshire this morning. I think it's about -2 this morning when we woke up. Right, where shall we put the search pile? I think the search pile will go into that gap there. Sorry, let me go ahead and shuffle this on camera, because this is going to be an authentic run through of the third dungeon of the Gorgon's Loch. So I won't be putting any powerful enemies in. There won't be more powerful than the dungeon specifies anyway. And there won't be the Gorgon Queen, and there won't be any Lycan Hall Walkers, or indeed Queen's Guard. So that's the search pile. The enemy pile contains, and it says here in the booklet, enemy pile: 6 goblins, 12 skeletons, 4 skeletal bowmen, and 6 wild hounds. So anything more powerful than that wants removing from the pile. So I'll just do that real quick. You can see how quick it is, even to the point of having to remove enemies and this sort of thing. I'm still going to be up and running in 10 minutes here, for sure. For sure, hopefully sooner. I mean, I'm guessing I've been about 5 minutes thus far. Right, there we are. So there are all the enemies for this. These are all the enemies that go back into there. Our brave heroes get 3 death markers each. I'm looking forward to a version of the game with a nice insert in it. That'd be nice. Okay, can you see there? If I put 3 death markers there for our first character, and leave a bit of space for shopping, and then I'll place 3 death markers here, and then hopefully there'll be enough room for enemy spawning here on the camera to be able to see what's going on. And I've just become crucially aware that I ought to do everything upside down for you folks, which of course I shall. Right, next job is to choose which 2 characters of these 5 we're going to be using. I'll just shuffle the enemy pile real quick. I think I'll pop the enemy pile. I mean, you'll be able to see it still, but I'll just put it half and half in and out of the dice cam like that. Pop that there. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters that come with the base game. So I'll roll 1d6 initially, and if I roll a 6, it's a re-roll. Otherwise, I'll be choosing 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And it's 5. So Ragnor Agathorn is our first hero. I'll pop him that way up so you can see him. You can see him okay, huh? It's better light actually, because it's a rare daylight run through today. Usually my daughter Lacey doesn't allow us to escape her clutches until she's gone to bed, so everything happens after sort of 7:30, 8 o'clock. Okay, the second hero: 1, 2, 3, or 4. If I roll a 5 or a 6, it's a re-roll, and that's clearly a 3. So 1, 2, 3. Julius Farcleaver gets a rare run out as well. So fair play, Julius. Good luck, sir. These folks can go back in the box. Right, we're about ready. All we need now is, according to the map, we need to place these gem locks. So I shall do that now. We have a red gem lock, a black gem lock, and a green gem lock. Okay. So the red one goes there. The green one goes there, and the black one goes here. Lovely. Okay, so now we can begin. So I'll just grab the heroes out of the standee box. I'm going for Ragnor Agathorn and Julius Farcleaver. There's Ragnor. Let's start there. And Julius Farcleaver as well. Start there, lovely. Okay, so you will need to locate the black, green and red gems hidden around the dungeon and place them into their corresponding gem locks. Okay, seems pretty simple. Let's get on with the dungeon. As ever, we are going to roll 2d6 to determine our starting action points. That's a lie. The very first thing we do is we roll 2d6 to determine starting health points. And as you can see, I've been punished by the dice gods already for getting that wrong. So Julius is going to start this campaign with 3 health points. Should make it interesting. Now he's going... Sorry, Ragnor. Now Ragnar's going to roll 4 action points. And gets 8. Okay, what we're going to do with 8 action points? Well, the room we're about to head into doesn't have any spawn points, so there's going to be no enemies for a while. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to search and find an empty scroll. Search again. And a bottle of Bilton's brew. I have 2 action points left. I'm going to use one of them to take that Bilton's brew and immediately restore 2 health points. So his 3 becomes 5. I just have a feeling that that we're going to need a few more health points than that. And with the final action point, he's going to search again and finds a clay pot. Okay, so that's Ragnar's turn over. Now to Julius. 8. That's a better starting health. 8. And how many action points for you, Julius? 9. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Search is 5. A clay pot. 6. Another clay pot. 7. The red gem. Useful. Already a quest item. Excellent. And final search. An enemy, leaving me with a single action point to deal with it. What enemy? Skeleton number 5. So skeleton number 5 is going to be spawned in front of me. Sorry, I'm doing it upside down, aren't I? Is that still on camera? Yeah, we've got all this real estate. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to want 2 health points for skeleton number 5. Out comes skeleton number 5 in front of Julius. Julius uses his last attack. Last action point to attack with 2d6, and the skeleton defends with 1d6. 10. It's an insta-kill. The difference is 4. He has 2 health points, and the maximum he can defend with is 6. So he's dead straight away. So we have vanquished a skeleton. Happy days. And on we go. So that was Julius's turn. Back we go to Ragnor. Action point 6. I've got to search. Oh, straight away, another enemy. So, 6 action points. He searched once, so he's now got 5 action points remaining. And the enemy is Wild Hound number 1. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, I would imagine. He's got all these action points left. So he's going to attack the Wild Hound. Anything above a 7 or above is an insta-kill. 6. Okay, so the Wild Hound can survive. But it doesn't. It only rolls a 1. So off it goes. Okay, that leaves Ragnor with 4 action points. So he's going to... Now he's in an enemy-free room again. He's going to search. Finds a gold piece. I'll leave the red gem right there. Oh, sorry, Ragnor. That's your pile of treasure, isn't it? The Scroll of Immunity. That will allow him to reverse the effects of a triggered trap should he find one. And fail to defend himself from it. And 4th search, a loose tile, which in the context of this dungeon means nothing. So there we are, that's all of his turns done, and off we go to Julius. 5 action points for Julius. What are you going to do with them? Well, I think we're going to search again, because we've got to find these things. An empty scroll, a small health vial, Right delirium. An ethereal voice calls out your name from the shadows. Your vision blurs, confused and disorientated. Your turn ends. So even though he's got a couple of action points left, he hasn't got any action points left. Because right delirium takes them away from him. Okay, back to Ragnor. Still no enemies on the board. 7. He's got to carry on this search. A loose tile. It's the first of 4 allowed searches. You trigger a trap. Roll 1d6 to determine your fate. This is a spider bite trap. So we're going to roll 1d6. 1, 2 or 3 unharmed. 4, 5 or 6 lose a health point. 6 lose a health point. However, Ragnor has just found the Scroll of Immunity, which he immediately uses. And he doesn't have to lose that health point. So that was a good find. Okay, that was his second search. Third search, the Black Key. It's a good quest item. It's also a quest item for the very first, I want to say first dungeon, yes. And finally a small health vial, which we'll keep as well. Lovely. He had 7, so he's going to move an extra 3. 1, 2, 3. There we are, because that's the other thing with this game, of course. You have to use all your action points if you can. Back we go to Ragnor. 7. 1, 2. A search. A gold ring. Search. A gold piece. Search. A blue gem. We don't have a blue gem in this, do we? No, we're looking for the black, red and green gem. But it's still a good quest. It's still a good piece of treasure. And finally, Wyeth's Chakram, which is going to give Julius an optional ranged weapon in line of sight. Good stuff. And has a single action point remaining. So a single action point is going to just move Julius a little closer there. Back we go to Ragnor. 8 action points for Ragnor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leaves him with 3. Now we're going to roll 1d6 to determine how many enemies are in the Great Hall. It could be up to 6, because there's 6 spawn points there. And there's 5. Okay, so now we're going to get to business. 5 enemies. We have skeleton number 3, goblin number 6, goblin number 1, skeleton number 11, and wild hound number 3. So I'll get these health points on the board. Wild hounds have a single health point. Skeletons have 2. Oops. Goblins have 1. And skeletons have 2. There we go. So now we need to populate them according to where their spawn points are in the Great Hall. So we've got skeleton number 3. Was spawned first. Let me turn these around here so you can see the artwork on the camera. There we are. The second one spawned was goblin number 6. He appears on spawn point number 2. Next we have goblin number 1. Spawn point 3. Skeleton 11. On spawn point 4. And finally, wild hound number 1 on spawn point 5. Ragnor has 3 action points left. That's not enough to do anything. It's not enough to get close enough to kill any of these things. So he's going to take 1 step back, and with his remaining 2, he's going to search. Jock's Madness. Same effect as Right Delirium. It ends your turn. This time in a cloud of choking smoke. So, on to Julius. Julius has 5 action points. That's not a lot either. So Julius is going to search as well. The Scroll of Power. That's 1 extra dice when attacking once, and then it's a single use thing. Second search yields a second Scroll of Power, useful. Third search yields a medium health vial. And final search, a yellow gem. A yellow gem. We're not looking for a yellow gem. We are looking for a green, red, or black gem. We found the red one. Pretty much hit a vein of gems here. We've got a blue gem. We've got a yellow gem. Look, fantastic. But yes, alas, no black or green gems. So that's all the searches. She only had 5. He only had 5. So I guess with his single action point, he's going to try his specialist skill, which is luck. If he rolls 2d6 and scores exactly 12, he activates his specialist skill, if indeed the player declares it first. and that allows him to go through the pack and find any single card he wants, and then we give the pack a darn good shuffle and keep playing. So Julius is going to attempt to throw 2d6 and score exactly 12 to activate luck. Oh, so close! So close with 11, but no cigar. So on we go. That is Julius's turn. Now it's the enemy turn. So we start with skeleton number 3. Skeleton number 3 has movement of 3. So skeleton number 3 has movement of 3. 1, 2, 3, drifting toward the player characters. Goblin number 6 has a movement of 2. 1, 2. Goblin number 1 has a movement of 2. 1, 2. Skeleton number 11 has a movement of 3. 1, 2, 3. And Wild Hound number 2 has a movement of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the end of the enemy turn. Back we go to Ragnor. Ragnor has 7, so takes 1 step up into the room, leaving him with 6. He's going to attack the Wild Hound. 7 or above, it's an insta-kill. And he scores 8, so it is an insta-kill. So Wild Hound number 2 is immediately taken off the table, opening up the room quite well. There's Wild Hound number 1. Okay, so now Ragnar is down to 5 action points. He's going to move... No, in fact, he's going to attack diagonally through the door, skeleton number 11, which he can do. Skeleton number 11 has 2 health points, so 8 or above is an insta-kill. And he scores 9, so skeleton number 11 bites the dust as well. Well done, Ragnor. Skelly 11 bites the dust. Okay, leaving him with 4 action points. Now he's going to move into the room, leaving him with 3. And now he's going to attack skeleton number 3, scoring 7. Skeleton number 3 can survive this if it rolls a 6 because it has 2 health points. But it does not. So skeleton number 3 is also out of there. There goes Skelly number 3. Ragnor has 2 action points left, so he's going to attack Goblin number 1. He's hacked through these enemies wonderfully. Oh, and destroys it utterly. Utterly. A proper insta-kill at 10. So, bye-bye, Goblin number 1. We hardly knew thee. And that leaves him with a single action point. And with that single action point, he's going to move here. And the reason for which will become clear if indeed that enemy survives the player turn. It's Julius next. Julius action points 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And has a single attack on Goblin number 6. And scores 6. The Goblin can survive, but only by rolling a 6. Oops. That was a 4, but it wasn't in the bowl, so I'll give Goblin another go. Ah, 5. So close. Sorry, Goblin number 6. You are out of there. So all enemies vanquished. Well done, gang. That's Julius's turn. There are no enemies on the board. Back we go to Ragnor. Ragnor is rolling for action points. 11. That's plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Leaving 5 on the board. And we're going to roll 1d6 to determine how many of these maximum of 4 enemies are in this room. And there are 3. And those 3 enemies are Wild Hound number 5, Wild Hound number 4, and Skeletal Bowman number 2. All of these enemies have a single health point. Wild Hound number 5 on spawn point number 1, Wild Hound number 4 on spawn point number 2, and Skeletal Bowman number 2 on spawn point number 3. Okay, so Ragnar has 5 action points remaining. I think the best thing to do is with 5, what should we do? those enemies won't be able to leave that room this next turn, so we can actually come back into this room and keep searching. So with those 5, I'm going to go step back into this room, 4, leaving 4, and we're going to have a search. I hope by now you all understand why I don't need to respawn enemies in here, because Julius is already here, so it's not an enemy and character-free room. But I did have to spawn those the moment I got onto the lava bridge. That didn't commit me into going into the room, but by standing on the lava bridge, I count as being in both. And then as soon as I move off the lava bridge again, I am now in an enemy-free room. So now I'm going to use these, as many of these 4 action points as I have remaining, as I can, as luck allows, to keep searching for some more of these gems. So the first search yields a falling rock trap. It's the same as the spider bite in its mechanic. You roll 1d6, 1, 2 or 3, you're unharmed, 4, 5 or 6, you lose a health point. And he doesn't have a scroll of immunity, so let's see. 1, there we go, he's unharmed, fantastic. So that's the first search. The second search yields the Scroll of Death, the most powerful magical scroll in the game. It allows you to render a single enemy in the same room dead. You don't even need to be next to it. And then it's a single use only card, and people have been loving this card when they've been faced with the Gorgon Queen and her forces. So well done, Ragnor. Third search reveals an enemy. Okay. So the third search reveals an enemy, and that enemy is Skeletal Bowman number 1. And unfortunately for this weak Skeletal Bowman with a single health point, you just appeared right in front of Ragnor, and he's got a single action point remaining. So he's going to use it to hopefully vanquish you. So because of the single health point, 7 or above, it's an insta-kill. And it's a 7, so only just, but Skeletal Bowman number 1 does indeed leave the building. Well done, Ragnar. And that's Ragnar's turn. On we go to Julius. Julius rolls for action points. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would say I can see this Wild Hound number 4. So you've got 2 action points remaining. I'm going to use one of them to use Wyeth's Chakram to attack that Wild Hound with a single d6. It defends with a single d6. I'm attacking Wild Hound number 4. I score a 4. It defends with... Oops. A 1. So it's dead. Perfect. So there we go. So there goes Wild Hound number 4. Take his card, or take his standee off the board, take his card, pop it to the bottom of the enemy pile. And with a single action point remaining, I'm going to attack the furthest dog. So I can't see the bowman from there, but I can see this furthest dog. So exactly the same again as last attack with Wyeth's Chakram. I attack Wild Dog number 5 with a 3, so not very powerful, but it is further away, to be fair. And the dog defends with a 6, so it snaps it out of the air and growls at me. And that's the end of Julius's turn, so now we're on to the enemy turn. There are 2 enemies left in the Loch at the moment. Wild Hound number 5 was spawned first, so it's going to move first. It has a movement of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can't quite reach our heroes. And Skeletal Bowman number 2 has a movement of 3, but only needs to move 1 square before falling into line of sight of Julius, where it attacks. The Skeletal Bowman attacks with 2d6, scoring 6. Julius defends with 2d6, scoring 9, so he's fine. He also parries the blow. That's the end of the enemy turn. Back we go to Ragnor. Ragnor for the action points. 9 action points. That should be plenty. 1, 2, 3. Leaving him with 6. Now he's going to attack the Skeletal Bowman with 6. It can survive if it rolls a 6. But it doesn't. The Skeletal Bowman has left the building. Sorry, yes, I'm remembering to take an action point off for that attack. Off you go, Skeletal Bowman number 2. Now for his second attack, he's going to attack the Wild Hound number 5. With 5, the Wild Hound defends. With 2, it also dies. Off you go, Wild Hound number 5. Card on the bottom of the enemy pile. And we are now in an enemy-free room. So, Ragnor has 4 action points remaining in here. So he's going to have a search. Finds a gold piece. He's going to have another search. Another gold piece. A third search. A small health vial. And a fourth search. A large health vial. That's all his action points remain gone. So now it's on to Julius. Julius rolls for action points. Snake Eyes. He's in an enemy-free section, so he's going to have a search, find a small health vial, another search, a medium health vial. Wonderful. Okay, no enemies on the board. Back we go to Ragnor for action points. This time he has 7, so I shall mark them up, because we might be able to do some different things with this. The first thing he's going to do is have a search. Finds the green gem. How convenient to find the green gem in the room that the green gem lock is in. So he has the green gem. He has 6 action points remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It isn't quite enough to place the green gem in, but he does have the green gem. So that's 2/3 of the dungeon complete, if indeed we can make it to the locks. So we've got the red gem here. We've got the green gem there. We've both got them. That's wonderful. I think that Ragnor is now going to start heading towards this to actually get this complete. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's Ragnor's go over. And in with Julius now. Julius rolls for action points. Oh, 12. That should be plenty. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Leaving Julius with 5 action points to use. A single d6 to spawn these enemies. There's either going to be 1 or 2. And that's a 5, so that's way more than 2. So that's both enemies, and they are Wildhound number 6 with a single health point, and Skeleton number 4 with 2 health points. So Wildhound number 4, Wildhound number 6, in fact, on spawn point number 1, and Skeleton number 4 on spawn point number 2. Okay, so there's he's got Julius has 5 action points remaining. They're both reasonably powerful enemies, actually. 5. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 will get me next to this skeleton, leaving me with 2 action points. I will attack with 2d6. Because of the 2 health points, it's 8 or above for an insta-kill. That's a 10, so off goes skeleton number 4, back to the big boneyard in the sky, leaving me with a single action point, with which I skillfully spin around and fire Wyeth's Chakram at the Wild Hound. I know it's only a single d6, but this could work. Oh dear. Scores a 1. Now, I will roll for the dog, but there's no need, because the minimum it can roll is a 1. So it's fine. So again, this pooch turns round, snatches the arrow out of the air, and growls derisively. That's Julius's turn, so now it's the wild dog's turn. So the wild dog is going to immediately plough with its 5 movement. It only needs 4 to get to Julius, and is going to attack with 2d6, because they're quite powerful animals, and scores 8. Julius defends, hopefully. Oh, with 5, look at that. So it took a big hit. So your 8 health becomes 5, Julius. That's a big hit. So that's the enemy turn over. Now we go back to Ragnor. Ragnor's right there. We know exactly what Ragnor's going to do first. He's got 6 action points to do it. So he's going to place the green gem into the green gem lock, thereby completing 1/3 of the dungeon. And with his remaining 5, he's going to, I think, probably run back here. He's going to start, because we've got to get back here to get to the black gem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to begin our journey back to the final black gem lock. It's amazing how many times when playing this particular U-shape that everybody piles through to the right and sort of populates the Great Hall in both directions first and gets that bit out of the way, and finishes on this long corridor. In fact, when we did when we were doing a playthrough of this scenario but with more powerful characters, including the Gorgon Queen, we had the Gorgon Queen and various very powerful enemies here, all clogged up, and we had Erin Bloodborne here, who's the elf with a teleport special ability. And we were playing with the guys from Back to the Board, Lee Quillen and Jonathan Ranger, and the finally triggering the teleport. And I think they had 3 action points remaining. They tried to trigger the teleport and failed, and then tried to trigger the teleport and succeeded, and managed to teleport all the way over here. They got this gem in, they got that gem in, and Erin was holding the black gem, and then used the final action point to place the black gem in and complete the scenario. And at the point of activating Erin's teleport spell, it elicited something called the Halifax Shout. And when I'm putting this out in the update, I'll be sure to link that. I'll pop it on screen somewhere. But yeah, the Halifax Shout. So that's a really cool reaction actually from one of our playthroughs, which was much fun, much fun. Okay, cool. So that's Ragnor's turn. We're now moving on to Julius. Julius is battling away with this wild hound still. 6 action points. I think I better just mark 5 on here, because I think we know what the first one's going to be, and that's to attack the poor wild hound. Anything 7 or above is an insta-kill. Oh, and it's a 5, so the doggy can survive this. Oh, but doesn't. 3, so the difference is 2. It's only got 1 health point. Doodlet falls. So sorry about that, wild hound number 6. There we are. Right, lovely. So you have Julius has 5 action points remaining. He's going to use 1 to move next to the gem lock. He's going to use another to place the red gem lock in, and with his remaining 3, he's going to go 1, 2, 3. And there are no enemies on the board, so back we go to Ragnor. Ragnor has had an idea, so Ragnor has 5 action points. Ragnor isn't going to leave this room until Julius has at least entered it. Otherwise, Julius will have to respawn these enemies. So with the 5, he's going to go 1, 2, leaving him with 3 action points. Then he's going to have a search, because we're still looking for the black gem, remember? Oh, and finds an enemy straight away. And that enemy is going to be skeleton number 7. And because he's on the lava bridge heading out, it's going to spawn on the lava bridge right there, which could actually be quite useful. But we can't push it back, so we're still going to have to spawn that anyway, so never mind. Okay, so he's got 2 action points remaining. Obviously, he's going to attack the skeleton with the first one. Scoring 9, it's an insta-kill straight away. So off you go, skeleton number 7. You look like you were going to cause us a bit of a problem there, but then you didn't. Skeleton 7. So, Ragnor has a single action point remaining. So with it, I think what might be nice is to have a search and find the black gem right here. Let's go. Oh, Bilton's Brew. Still good. Still good. It's the equivalent of... That's Ragnor, isn't it? It's the equivalent of a medium health vial. It says, drink this cold, refreshing beverage to restore 2 health points, then return it to the bottom of the search pile. Okay, so that's all good. He's all out of action points. Back we go to Julius now. Julius should be able to join him in that other room. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will do nicely. Still no enemies on the board. Back we go to Ragnor. Ragnor's rolling for action points and scores 9. So the first thing he's going to do is step on the lava bridge. That's going to leave him with 8 action points. And now we're going to roll 1d6 to determine how many enemies are respawned in the Great Hall. It's another 5. That's a lot of enemies to hack through again. We've got Goblin number 4. Skeletal Bowman number 3. Skeleton number 10. Goblin number 5, otherwise known as Mambo. And Goblin number 2. Mambo's been wishing you guys happy holidays on our socials. Mambo is also one of the only goblins that single-handedly managed to kill a player character during playtesting. So, fair play, Mambo number 5. Here we go. I'll get your heart counters sorted. And skeleton number 10 has 2. Right, so let's go. Goblin number 4, spawn point 1. Skeletal Bowman number 3, spawn point 2. That's unfortunate for a bowman because, of course, you know, distance is their advantage. They spawned about as close to our player characters as you can, but that's the way the dice gods roll. Skeleton number 10 on spawn point 3. Goblin number 5, there goes Mambo. Where's he going to spawn? Number 4, ready to rumble. And Goblin number 2 on spawn point 5. Right, so Ragnor has 8 action points remaining. First thing he's going to do, 1, 2, leaving him with 6. And he's going to attack the Skeletal Bowman. 7 or above is an insta-kill. Then it's an 8. There goes the Skeletal Bowman. There we are. Now he's going to move. We've got 5 action points left now. So he's going to move 1, 2, 1, 2. Leaving him with 3, and he's got 3 enemies surrounding him. So, the first attack is going to be on skeleton number 10. Scores 5 for the skeleton defends. Oh, tension mounts. Scores 5, it's fine, okay. 2 attacks remaining. I'll keep going at the skeleton. And that's an 8. So it can't survive that. It's got 2 health points. And it only defends with 1d6. So only just, but it is dead. There we go. Skeleton number 10 bites the dust. So what to do with our 1 remaining action point? Well, I think attack Goblin number 2. Killing it instantly. So there goes Goblin number 2. Back to the big Goblin catacomb in the sky. Does that make sense? A catacomb in the sky? I guess if you've got a sky palace it would. Okay, that's Ragnor's turn over. Now we go to Julius. Julius has 7 action points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And with his final action point he's going to attack Goblin number 4. 7 or above, it's an insta-kill. Looking good. 7, there we are. So, Goblin number 4 survives. Goblin number 4 does not survive and is removed from the board. That's the end of Julius's turn. Now it's the enemy turn, and oh dear, we've got Mambo number 5 already engaged in combat because it's much closer to Ragnor Agathorn than Julius. So let's go, Mambo number 5. You're attacking with a single d6. Oops. A 3. We'll be very unlucky to suffer any damage from this with 2d6 in defence. And we're absolutely fine. So that's the enemy turn over. Back we go to Ragnor with 6 action points. His very first is going to be to insta-kill Mambo number 5. So sorry Mambo, today was not your day. We've got 5... sorry, I just knocked the dungeon there. We've got 5 action points remaining. What are we going to do with them? Well, I think to move in the direction of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not a bad idea. There's no enemy to spawn here, so we're safe. We've still got that black gem to find, but that is the only thing we've got to find. We've placed the red, we've placed the green. So now to Julius for his action point. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 will allow us to see which of these 3 enemies, it's either 1, 2 or 3, will be spawned. So let's have a look. And 5 means that it's all 3. The first enemy is Wild Hound number 3. Second is Skeletal Bowman number 4. And Skeleton number 6. So, that was the end of Julius's turn. So these enemies are going to immediately spring to action. So we've got Wild Hound number 3 on spawn point 1. We've got Skeletal Bowman number 4 on spawn point 2. And we've got Skeleton number 6 on spawn point 3. So, in the order that they were spawned, because it's the enemy turn now, it is Wild Hound to go first. Wild Hound's right at the back, but enemies can pass through each other. They just can't pass through characters. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 is all that Wild Hound's going to need to attack Julius, and it does so with 2d6. Scoring 8, Julius defends. Scoring 5, the difference is 3, and Julius gets his health of 5 knocked down to 2. This is not looking good for Julius. The next one is the Skeletal Bowman. I would argue that the Skeletal Bowman can't actually see Julius at the moment because of the Wild Hound and the fact that Julius is around the corner. However, Skeletal Bowmen have a movement of 3. 1, 2, 3. So that Skeletal Bowman is all up in Julius's face anyway and attacks with 2d6. This is not looking good for Julius. Are we going to lose a player character? Well, there's a pretty good chance. Now let us see if we've got any magical scrolls that'll help. A scroll of power, no, that's used offensively. 2 scrolls of power. Lots of health potions I wished I'd taken the time to take. What do we have here? Lots of gems and gold that are worth nothing to Julius at the moment. And Wyeth's Chakram, and that's it. So, now Julius needs to defend against 12, and essentially, if he rolls 11 or 12, he survives. 10 or under, Julius is dead. And it's under 10, it's 4. Julius is absolutely dead. Killed to death by a Skeletal Bowman. So Julius's body flops to the floor, and his soul wafts around the start room. All of Julius's belongings, yes, all of them, all go ploughing down to the bottom of the search pile. One of Julius's death counters gets turned over, or indeed we can just go ahead and lose it like that, leaving him with 2 lives for next go. And that's it. That's it for the enemy turn. So, oh no, it isn't. Terribly sorry, it isn't. The Wild Hound went. The Skeletal Bowman went. Now it's the Skeleton's turn. It has a movement of 3. It can't get onto the 3rd square because there's a Wild Hound in it, so it's going to simply move 1, 2, and that's the end of its turn. And now that's the end of the enemy turn. Back we go to Ragnor. Ragnor rolls 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Leaving him with 4 action points. Now, the first thing he's going to do is attack the Skeletal Bowman that destroyed his friend. Scoring 6, it's survivable. The Skeletal Bowman rolls a single d6 and does not survive. But it was a close call there for a second. Off goes the Skeletal Bowman. That's what you get for killing my mate Julius. With, okay, 3 action points remaining, so I'm going to attack diagonally the Wild Hound without having to move. The Wild Hound, yeah, it's right here, so we're going to attack with 2d6. And it's an instant kill on the Wild Hound. So Julius is clearly angry about what's just happened to... Sorry, Ragnor is clearly angry about what's just happened to Julius. 2 action points remaining. I'm going to move 1 there to get toe-to-toe with skeleton number 6. And with the final action point, I'm going to attack skeleton number 6. Because of the 2 health points, it's 8 or above for an insta-kill. And only scores 5. The skeleton defends with 6. It's fine. So that's the end of Ragnor's turn. Now we go to Julius, who is reincarnated at the start of the dungeon. So there's Julius starting her second life, his second life. 7 action points. No, tell a lie, sorry. The first 2d6 roll is starting health. So they have 7 starting health. 7. Okay, so we've got 7 action points now. What are you going to do with them? Julius can't plough all the way over here to help. We're still looking for the black gem. I think it would be pertinent for Julius to do some searching. So with that 7, I'm going to go 1, 2, leaving us with 5. Search. Oh, right, delirium. An ethereal voice calls out your name from the shadows. Julius, Julius, you've just been killed. Your vision blurs, confused and disorientated. Your turn ends. So, the best laid plans of mice, men, and human mutant veterans aft Ganaglay. Now it's the enemy turn, and the skeleton is going to attack Ragnor Agathorn with 9. Does Ragnor have any useful scrolls he can use? He's got a scroll of death and an empty scroll, but nothing that's going to help him this turn. So he's defending against 9 and rolls 10. Good. Okay, he's fine. He's fine. Right, so that's the end of the enemy turn. Back we go to Ragnor. Ragnor is rolling. Oops. Excuse me. Rolling for action points. 3. 3 action points. Rubbish. Okay, so I think I better mark 2 on here and attack this skeleton. Hopefully, 8 or above, insta-kill. And it is. It's a 10. So the skeleton's out of there, leaving Ragnor with 2 action points. What to do with them, I wonder. Well, I think I can now make it to the final run without having to spawn enemies in here. But I've only got 2 action points, so I think I'm probably going to have a search and see if I can find this. Oh, no, wait. I've only got 5 health. So with these 2 action points, actually, I've got a large health vial. Have I got another large one? No. So I've got a large health vial and a Bilton's brew, which is the equivalent of a medium health vial. So between them, they'll restore 5 health points. So I'm going to take both of those, and that's what I'm going to use my final 2 action points for. So your health points have gone from 5 to 10, which is awesome. Back we go to Julius. Julius is rolling for action points. And rolls 5. Going to search. Jock's Madness again, Julius. Get back in the game, would you? Okay, so Jock's Madness. A mysterious cloud of smoke engulfs you. Coughing and choking, you fall to your knees and close your eyes. Confused and disorientated, your turn ends. So that's Julius. No enemies on the board. Back we go to Ragnor for action points. That's more like it. 11 action points. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leaving me with 6. I'm going to search. You discover an enemy. Okay, and that enemy is skeleton number 8. So I've got 5 action points remaining. Skeleton number 8 arrives at Ragnor's toes. So we better use an action point to hopefully smash it to pieces. 8 or above for an insta-kill. 7. Okay, so it can survive if it rolls a 6, which it does not. So skeleton number 8 bites the dust. Well done, Ragnor. Okay, so 4 action points remaining now. So with them, I think we'd better search and find this black gem, hadn't we? Oh, I've just triggered a trap. This one, a swinging blade trap. To determine your fate, roll 1d6. 4, 5 or 6, lose a health point. Sorry, 1, 2 or 3, unharmed. 4, 5 or 6, lose a health point. So here we go. Unharmed, huzzah! Okay. Next search. Oh, an enemy again. What's going on? Okay, so this enemy is skeleton number 1. Skeleton number 1 arrives now, toe to toe. The attack is 9, so it's killed. Brilliant. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Ragnor now has 2 action points remaining and is pretty worried about searching, frankly, but we need to find this black gem. Search to find a Bilton's brew, handy, and he's going to go ahead and do a final search and a medium health vial. Okay, excellent. So that's Ragnar's turn over. I'm not going to leave this corridor and head that way to spawn these, because if I do, before Julius gets here, Julius will then have to spawn this corridor as well. So, that was Ragnar's turn. Here we go, Julius. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No enemies on the board. Back to Ragnor. 7. Okay, so we'll start searching. First search yields a small health vial. Second, a clay pot. Third, a gold ring. And fourth, an enemy. Okay, so Ragnor is really pulling these enemies out. Again, it's another skeleton. Skeleton number 9 this time. Back for revenge. It's fallen dusty colleagues. All right, so that's 4 searches. The action points were 7, so I've got 3 action points remaining. Obviously, I'm going to use one to attack the skeleton with 10, destroying it utterly. Fantastic. So I have 2 action points remaining. What am I going to do with them? Well, I've done all my searching. I can't search more than 4 times in a turn. I've killed the bad guy. I'm going to take 2 steps closer, but I'm not on the lava bridge, so I don't yet have to spawn these. And then I'm hanging around, hopefully, for Julius, who's going to make it in this time and do some damage, I hope. Oops, excuse me. 4 and a 3, 7. So 1, 2, 3. We'll leave Julius with 4. And we shall have a search. The first search is an enemy, of course it is. So the enemy is Goblin number 3. And now we're going to attack Goblin number 3. 7 or above is an insta-kill. 7. Only just, but goodbye, Goblin number 3. We hardly knew thee. Right. Second search. A small health vial. Useful. And third search, a spider bite. Okay, trigger a trap, roll 1d6 to determine your fate. 1, 2 or 3 unharmed, 4, 5 or 6 lose a health point. It's a 4, lose a health point. So 7 becomes 6. 2 action points remaining. We're going to go ahead and search, I think, the final time. Oh, snake bite this time. Same thing, but a snake bite. So 1, 2 or 3 unharmed, 4, 5 or 6 lose a health point. Oh, lose another health point. So hit a bit of a vein of traps there. So that was, I have a single action point remaining. And with it, we're going to take this small health vial. And in doing so, increase our health from 5 back up to 6. That is Julius's turn. No enemies on the board. Back we go to Ragnor for action points. And 3 action points. Well, that's a load of rubbish, Ragnor. 3 action points. What to do with them? I think we have to search. Find a loose tile. Second search, medium health vial. And third search, a large health vial. Okay, well that's the action points done. Julius now. Snake eyes. So Julius is going to search, find a large health vial, and with a final action point, they are going to take that large health vial, moving their health from 6 to 9. So there we are. Getting ready for the final run now, just in case some real baddies arrive here. Okay, so that was Julius's turn. I've noticed something about Julius, actually. I refer to them as both he and she, so and in equal measure. So I think Julius is probably gender fluid. Just a point. It's now Ragnor Agathor's turn to roll for action points. 4 still sucks, but still. Let's do this. Let's get in here. So 1, leaving Ragnor with 3 action points. Roll 1d6 to determine how many of these 4 final enemies are here. 3 of them. And they are skeleton number 12, skeleton number 2, and skeleton number 5. Lots of skellies. A powerful finishing room. And Ragnor has not got the action points to do anything about them this time. So it's either all on Julius, or they are going to have an opportunity to attack us here. Okay, so we've got skeleton number 12 on spawn point 1. We've got skeleton number 2 on spawn point 2. And we've got skeleton number 5 on spawn point 3. There we are. Right, so Ragnar's got 3 action points remaining. Although you're not allowed to pass through a square you've already been in the same turn, you are allowed to do that if you have changed board section. But you change board section by either obviously entering a new board section or by standing on the lava bridge between two board sections. So he's actually going to use his final 3. He's going to move back 1, leaving him with 2, and then he's going to have a search and find the Scroll of Protection. That's optional. You can roll 1 extra d6 in defense, and a final search. A gold piece. Right. Now it is Julius's turn. Julius is rolling for action points. They have 8. Okay. So, what to do with 8 action points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It isn't enough to get into the action, so I think we're going to have to let these bad guys come. They all have 3 movement, 1, 2, 3, so they're not actually going to be able to make it out of the room, which is good, which means on our next turn we can enter the room and not have to respawn them. So Julius is going to use their points to search initially. So we've got 8. First search yields a clay pot. Second, Jock's Madness. Confused and disorientated. Your turn ends, Julius. Okay. Well, it was an idea while it lasted. Skeleton number 12 was spawned first, so they are going to drift towards our player characters. 1, 2, 3. Next, skeleton number 2. 1, 2, 3. And finally, skeleton number 5. 1, 2, 3. That's the enemy turn. Back we go to Ragnor. Ragnar's rolling for action points. Scores 8. That's more like it. 1, 2, 3. We'll leave him with 5. I'll roll that down to 4 because he's going to attack skeleton number 5. With 6, the skeleton defends. With 3, so it's dead. Skeleton number 5 is dead. It's out of there. Goodbye, skeleton number 5. Next, we have, with 3 action points remaining, he's going to attack skeleton number 2. Looks like an insta-kill to me. Oh no, 7. So skeleton number 2 could survive if it rolls a 6. It rolls a 5, so it's dead, but only just. Goodbye, skeleton number 2. And now we're in a bit of a quandary because I've got 3 action points remaining. Yeah, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to take it out. Why not? So 1 leaves me with 2 action points. I've only attacked twice this turn, so I can attack both of these if they survive. Skeleton number 12. Ragnor is attacking with 4. It's weak. And the defense is 3, so it loses 1 health point, but it still survives. And I'm glad I saved that. I'm glad I saved that last action point, because now with the last action point, he attacks again. This time with 9, causing an insta death. Lovely. Okay, so skeleton number 9. Sorry, skeleton number 12. In fact, bites the dust. Ragnor is out of action points, but he's in the final room. Now it's Julius's turn. Julius rolls for action points and scores 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now let's get this party started with a Scroll of Immunity, a medium health vial, another Scroll of Immunity, and an empty scroll. Okay, well, it is what it is. Back we go to Ragnor. Action points 4. Well, it's going to be searching. A gold piece. The Scroll of Defense allows you to roll a single d6 extra in defense 1 time and then put it back into the search pile. Third search yields another Scroll of Death. Fantastic. And the 4th is the White Key. All good adventure loot, but nothing that's going to help us find that black gem. That was Ragnor. Back to Julius we go. No enemies on the board. Wow, okay. We've got 10, so I'm going to do my searching first. First search yields the Golden Brooch, which would fit beautifully on the chest of the golden statue of the unnamed warrior. But for this, it's merely excellent loot. Second search yields a scroll of protection. Third search yields a gold ring, and their final search a gold piece, leaving 6 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No enemies on the board. Back we go to Ragnor. Action points. 6 of them. He's going to search 2. Finds a gold ring. An empty scroll. An empty scroll and Carter's slippers. These soft shoes allow you to creep around silently. If an enemy cannot see you, they will not follow you. I don't think they're going to be that useful because we're in this final room now. We're going to search for the black gem, stick it in there. Happy days. So that's all Ragnar's searches done. He had 6 action points in total, so another couple of movement. And back we go to Julius with 6. So instead of moving, I'll do the searching first just in case we spawn an enemy. Find a small health vial. Sorry, a medium health vial. Another clay pot. Another empty scroll. And a scroll of immunity. You're collecting scrolls of immunity now. Okay, so that was 6 as well. So another couple of movement toward our prize. Back we go to Ragnor for actions. 10. Okay. Searches first. A scroll of anger. A loose tile, a small health vial, and a scroll of vitality. This scroll allows you or someone in the same room to gain 2 health points. You must then return this card to the bottom of the search pile. So I will immediately use the scroll of vitality, leaving me with 5 action points. I'm going to use it on Julius. So they go from 9 to 11. I'm also going to... Let's have a look. My health's at 10, so I could do with a medium health vial if I've got one. I don't want to waste a large health vial. There's a medium health vial. So I will use a medium health vial myself to go from 10 to 11. 5 action points... No, sorry, 4 action points remaining. And my health went up to 12, didn't it? From 10 to 12 with a medium health vial. I will now give Julius a small health vial. Can't take it yet. I'm not giving him any vitality through it. I've literally just passed him it. Give, take, use, fight, search, move. So I've got 3 action points remaining, and those 3 action points are going to take me 1, 2, 3. Now, one thing I haven't been doing is trying to activate Julius's specialist skill. And of course, Julius's specialist skill is to search through the whole pack for a single card, which is precisely what we're looking for. So guess what I'm going to be trying every turn now on for Julius. We're now rolling for Julius's action points. 5 of them. First thing we're going to do is roll double 6 to activate the specialist skill. And we failed. So they've got 4 action points remaining now. First search yields a snake trap. Roll 1d6. Harmed. However, I have a scroll of immunity, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. So that's the first search out of the way. That leaves me with 3. Second search, a clay pot. Loving the clay pots. Third search, a gold piece. Lots of treasure. And fourth search, a black gem. Da, 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 da. There we are. So that's all of Julius's searching done. And Julius has 0 action points. So because there's no enemies on the board, back we go to Ragnor. Ragnor rolls for action points and gets 11 of them. We can win right now because we go 1, 2, 3. I take the black gem from Julius. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And with the final action point, I place the black gem into the black lock. Huzzah! And we have completed the scenario. We've killed lots of enemies. This was a totally authentic run through. There's no extra enemies. No, we shuffled everything on camera beforehand. We've got piles and piles of treasure to take on to the next dungeon. Were we to do this as a full campaign? Yeah, happy days. So here we are. Success. There's a little success thing to read at the bottom of each scenario. As you return the final gem to its place in its locked tile, all 3 gems begin to hum and vibrate. Fearing another floor collapse, your party clings to the walls, watching the floor carefully for signs of weakness as the vibrations continue to gain in intensity. Finally, and with little warning, all 3 holder tiles fall through the floor, revealing 3 openings into the same wide tunnel below. With trepidation, you drop down into the inky blackness. Congratulations for making it to the halfway point. If you are ready to continue your campaign, turn over to start Dungeon 4. Ba, ba, ba. Wonderful. So, that's Dungeon 3 of the Gorgon's Loch. That's Dungeon 3 of 6 of the Gorgon's Loch. And now I'm just going to tidy it all away, because after all, we started with a closed box. So let us end on one. While I'm busily putting this stuff away, I may as well have a chat with you about what can happen at the end of a turn if you are running one scenario from one scenario to another and actually running one dungeon after the other and collecting and keeping your things. Now, as you run through the dungeon, of course, you'll end up with a huge great big pile of this stuff, and the search pile will be down to just the dregs, just the traps and the one, you know, the enemies, etc. So how do we make you put your treasure back into the search pile to bulk it up and make it more fun for everybody else as they're moving through the later dungeons? Well, we have an end of turn mechanic. It doesn't cost any action points to do, but you can buy a health buffer. Now, even in the first couple of dungeons, it's not so bad if you accidentally roll Snake Eyes right here and find yourself starting the dungeon with 2 health points. You can see you can find health vials, you can find scrolls of vitality, you can hang back from the action, and the enemies will attack their nearest player characters instead, unless you're using a dungeon master, of course, and then it's up to them. So what we've decided to do is you can create a health buffer for yourself. So at the start of a dungeon, you would normally roll 2d6 to determine your starting health points. Here, in this case, that would be 7. However, when I finished Dungeon 2, I had lots and lots of treasure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Scroll of Immunity, which is worth 15 gold pieces, a Medium Health Vial, which is worth 10, and another Scroll of Immunity, which is worth 15. So that in total is 40. 40 gold pieces worth of treasure go into the search pile. And with it being 40, for every 10 of those gold pieces, that becomes an active health buffer. So I start with 4, and no matter what I roll there, I can't end up with lower than 4. I've paid for a health buffer of 4. So theoretically, you could put in 120 gold pieces worth of stuff and start the dungeon with 12. 120 gold pieces worth of stuff is quite a lot of stuff. However, this lucky ducky picked up the golden brooch as well, so I'm going to throw that into the pile, and suddenly my health buffer of 4 becomes 9. Does that feel a bit unfair? Certainly, and that's why we've limited the health buffer to 6. So if you want to pay up to 60 gold pieces worth of stuff to be shuffled back into the search pile at the end of one scenario, we will give you that health buffer of up to a maximum of 6 health points. However, if I go ahead and roll 6 now, I still have 6 health points. I rolled 7 right here, so I rolled 7. I end up with 7 health points. There's no addition. You're not giving yourself a buffer with which to add the 2d6 to, up to a maximum of 12. It's simply a buffer, so that just in case you happen to roll Snake Eyes and you're heading into the final dungeon of the Gorgon Queen, you know you're going to need a lot of health to get through that, as well as a lot of luck. So the health buffer mechanic allows us to move treasure that you've collected back into the search pile at the end of the scenario to be shuffled back in to make it more fun and more prosperous for the next scenario you run. So I just thought I'd mention that while I'm tidying down. I hope you're all enjoying the playthroughs and stuff, and I hope you've all had some... Excuse me, that's my elderly father. He's forgotten that I told him I was recording up here. Going well, it's all going great. Yeah, so I just thought I'd let you know about the end of turn trade mechanic. Now, that trade mechanic is also extremely useful when it comes to re-kitting out your fellow adventurers, because your fellow adventurers, some of them may have been killed. Some of them may have been killed outright, and they've been sitting it out, waiting for you to finish this scenario so that they can join you at the start of the next. which means they'll be joining you at the start of the next scenario with absolutely no stuff. So as well as using the treasure that you've collected to give yourself things like health buffers, you could also use the treasure and equipment that you've collected to hook up your dead or weak or under-equipped adventurers in your group before you start the next. You could also use the free trade mechanic at the end of the turn to balance things. So, for example, if one of you's got 2 ranged weapons and one of you has none, guess what? Okay, so you can very easily split things around, make sure everyone's got an equal sprinkling of health potions, this sort of thing. So I hope that's been explained. Apologies for my father's interruption. I shall have him thrashed soundly in the dungeons. I won't really, he's lovely. And that's it. So here we have a box full of our awesome game. I hope you will tell your friends about it. And I hope you will convince them to come and check out the Kickstarter and pledge for a box. Or possibly get them involved in the more creative pledges, and they could be involved in creating a character or creating an animal for the Loch. Because we're always looking for founding members to make our game more awesome. So there we are. Thanks very much. Cheers for joining us. I appreciate it. Have yourselves a wonderful Monday. I hope your week has started well. Onwards, adventurers. I shall see you in the comments. Farewell.